In today's video, I'm gonna quickly show you how to fix your iPad if it's not turning on. Now, you may be in a situation where you're stuck in here on the black screen where it simply doesn't show anything else. You may be in a situation where you do have this screen in here showing the charging cable as well as the dead battery icon in here, and it simply doesn't turn on. You may be as well in this scenario where you do have the Apple logo on your screen, but it simply doesn't turn on at all. I'm gonna show you how to fix all the possible scenarios in here, and I'm going to show you all these steps in a specific order in here where one step complements the other one, so it's important for you not to skip the video throughout the entire video. Now, we do have a lot of causes for this problem. We may be having a software issue, we may be having a hardware issue, but I'm going to diagnose it with you in this video and I'm going to solve it by the end of the video. Hey, my name is Shaq, and in this channel I do cover a lot of tech hacks and tutorials, so if you're into tech content, consider subscribing here to the channel. It really helps me out. Now, the very first thing you want to do in here is double check if you're actually getting enough charge, okay? If what your charger is actually feeding to your iPad is exactly enough charge to make it turn on. Now, you want to double check the very first thing. Just to rule out all the charging possibilities, we need to rule out the charger condition in here, okay? So I want you to double check your charger. You need to give a look at the socket in here as well as the cable itself. Inspect the cable, see if you do not have any loose wire here in the cable, and also try replacing the cable by keeping the same socket, or try replacing the socket but keeping the same cable. Other tests you can do is try using the same cable into a different iPad device and see if it charges. It needs to be on an iPad and not an iPhone device, okay? So you want to double check and see if it charges. Now, if it charges way too slow, I would recommend you trying a different charger, because the charge required to turn on an iPad which is completely off and the charge required to keep on increasing a turned on iPad or iPhone device is different, okay? So since you're off, it's not on, I would recommend you to replace your charger in case it's not working on a different iPad device. Now, if your charger is simply working perfectly fine and no issues have been found with your charger, then we're moving into the next step, where I would recommend you to perform a forced restart on your iPad device. Now, a forced restart is done in different ways depending on the iPad model that you've got. For example, if you do have a much older iPad model like mine with a physical home button in here, all you need to do in order to perform a forced restart is press and hold that physical home button along with the power button, which is usually located at the top or here on the right. This is how it goes. Press and hold both of the buttons combination and do not release them for approximately 6 to 8 seconds until you see the Apple logo on your screen. There we go. It's now off. And once you see the Apple logo, you're going to release both of the buttons combination and let your iPad turn on normally. Essentially, what this does is it fixes a lot of bugs, glitches, and it's as if you have restarted your iPad by removing the battery and reconnecting the battery. It's something that really helps, and I actually recommend people performing a forced restart once in a while, every 10 to 15 days, just to ensure that your gadget is actually working smoothly. Now, if you are in a situation where you do have a much recent iPad device, okay, I do not have a much recent one, but I'm gonna showcase it to you with this recent iPhone device because the process is exactly the same. So if you have a much recent iPad device without a physical home button down here, what you're gonna do is rapidly tap on volume up and then down and then press and hold that power button for 6 to 7 seconds until you see the Apple logo. This is how it goes. Volume up, down, press and hold the power button. Do not release the power button, okay? Just keep on pressing it. Your hardware will understand what it needs to do, okay? So keep on pressing it, and once you see the Apple logo on your screen, you're gonna release that power button, okay? Release it and let it turn on normally. Now, if it simply keeps on getting stuck, for example, in one of those scenarios, or if it's the charging, if it's the Apple logo, or simply a black screen, do not worry, we're moving into the next step where we need to double check our charging port in here. Now, on this next step, we're gonna actually give a look here at our charging port, and if you have a charging port like this one, which is a lightning charging port, you're gonna need a toothpick in here in order to remove lint or dust or clean your charging port. Now, it needs to be a toothpick because it's made out of wood, and this will not compromise your charging port, okay? Because if you try inserting something with metal, this can cause some sort of short circuit on your iPad. So you want to turn it off completely. Of course, it's off because it's not turning on. Next up, you simply want to insert it here here to the bottom and then perform this movement. Move it to one side and then pull it out. Insert, move it to one side, pull it out. This is the movement that you need to perform in here. Okay, so you want to do this for approximately 1 to 2 minutes and remove as much dust and dirt that you can. Next up, you want to do it the other way. Okay, insert it from this side all the way to the other way out. Okay, insert, other way out, insert, other way around, out, insert, other way around, out. So you want to perform this for approximately 30 minutes and see how much dust is going to come out from your lightning port. It happens sometimes because when we are actually exposed to outdoor environments, we may be having a lot of dust in here on our iPad device, which is preventing it from actually charging. Now, if you do have, for example, a Type-C iPad in here, which is a much recent one, you're going to use actually a toothbrush. You want to get a very clean toothbrush and then you want to insert it in here and then simply remove as much dust as you can or as much lint as you can here from your charging port by performing the same movement in here, but it needs to be a toothbrush. You want to insert it, okay, and then remove dust from here. And then you're going to perform the same movement the other way around for approximately 2 to 3 minutes, okay? Remove as much dust and lint as you can in here in order to clean, but ensure that the toothbrush is a soft one and clean so it actually inserts properly in here, and then remove as much dust as you can in here from your charging port. Once you're done doing this, you're going to try connecting your charging cable into your iPad device, connect it into your socket, connect it into the power supply, and keep it charging for approximately 20 minutes without even touching your iPad device, and see if this solves the problem in here that you've got. Okay, now next up, you want to try one more time the same process of force restarting your iPad device. Okay, you want to force restart it, and if it turns on immediately, I want you to double check one more thing in here. I want you to hop into settings, scroll down, and then tap on general, and then tap on software update, and see if you do not have a pending software update that needs to be done in here. If you do have a pending software update, ensure you update it as soon as possible, because this may be one of the causes for this problem. You may be facing a bug or a glitch which is preventing your iPad to actually work smoothly. The next thing you want to double check in here is also the iPhone storage. These are just basic routine checks that people do when they're diagnosing your iPad, okay, because we do not know if the solution was in fact the cleaning of the charging port or the force restart, okay? So you want to double check if it's not a software problem. You need to have at least 5 gigabytes of space in here so your system can actually perform all its workarounds and work smoothly by managing its temporarily and cache files without any issue. So if you do have, for example, only 1, 2, or 3 gigabytes of free space, I want you to see what's eating up a lot of space in here and free up some space. Whether it's WhatsApp, photos, or stuff like that, just hop into that application and delete some data to ensure that you have minimum 5 gigabytes of space, which is free space for your system to actually perform smoothly, okay? So I hope one of these steps actually helped fixing this problem, and if you find my content useful, give it a thumbs up and let me know down in the comment section which step actually helped you fixing this annoying problem. Thanks for watching Fixed by Shaq, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.